We've just witnessed something that fundamentally overturns our understanding of reality. NASA and the Harvard team haven't slept for 2 days, running the data through supercomputers again and again, and nothing adds up. From first principle physics, the numbers simply refuse to fit. No natural model we know of can explain this. What was whispered yesterday in engineering hallways has now become the world's problem number one that we are looking at this object, 3I Atlas, and the way it behaves is, for lack of a better word, too intelligent. Even the harshest skeptics, the lifelong debunkers of UFOs, have thrown up their hands and said, "We give up. That's not a rock." Everyone expected a statement about sensor errors or miscalculated margins. Instead, the truth turned out to be far more shocking. Since July 1st, from the moment we first detected it, the object has practically ignored the gravitational physics of passive bodies. The models say it should go one way, it goes another. Its path is narrowing. This isn't drift. It looks like aim. And the most incredible part? These aren't cometary gas bursts. A comet vents gas chaotically. But this is pure mechanics. Every 17 minutes, boom, a powerful ultraviolet pulse. Accuracy like atomic time. It's engineered rhythm, not nature. When Dr. Finch displayed the final orbit, the room went dead silent. We once thought it would simply pass by. Now the trajectory curves down sharply and intersects Mars' orbit directly. And what scares me isn't just a possible impact, it's the delta V. It doesn't accelerate in erratic jumps. It accelerates smoothly after each pulse, something impossible to model without adding one more variable, an active engine that we're measuring 87 kilometers per second, orders of magnitude above normal. Even fast interstellar objects lose energy through dust and solar gravity. But this thing only gains speed. Its path is stabilizing. Its coma is glowing twice as bright as 2 weeks ago, and the brightness peaks line up perfectly with the pulses. JPL, who never rushed to conclusions, labeled it extremely unusual. In their vocabulary, that means we're terrified. The energy spectrum points to an internal power source. Something inside is working. This is not a comet, it's technology, and it's heading for Mars. This triggered independent research groups to dig into old archives, comparing new data to past anomalies like the 2017 interstellar visitor oumuamua, whose residual acceleration still defies classical physics. But unlike oumuamua, which moved away from us, 3I Atlas is moving inward, with precision that forces experts to ask an unpleasant question: why is its course becoming more efficient over time? The most dramatic moment of the briefing was the final prediction. If humanity does nothing, the estimated impact will happen in January 2026. That's catastrophically little time for standard deflection protocols. With a mass near 10 billion tons, the strike's energy, about 2 million megatons of TNT, would carve a crater tens of kilometers wide and fill the Martian atmosphere with dust. But Dr. Finch stressed an even worse point. The object's behavior suggests intent, not emotional, human intent, but physical intent marked by directionality, repetition, and strict sequencing of maneuvers at this moment. The discussion shifted from astronomy to strategic risk. Something that should be chaotic and lifeless is acting as though it is controlled. And on that unsettling note, the press conference ended. Journalists left without clear answers, but with a heavy certainty that the world had changed. The data contradicts everything we've known. If there is a pattern, there is a purpose. Radar returns from Goldstone then revealed a dense, metallic-like reflection, something ordinary comets do not produce. The team retested the equipment twice. Same result. This type of echo is typical of solid alloys or constructed materials, not loose ice and dust. And when overlapped with the rhythmic acceleration, the scenario began to resemble something far more engineered. Avi Loeb noted that an interstellar object with consistent acceleration and metallic echoes hardly fits natural explanations. He has long argued that the universe may be filled with ancient technological relics. And for the first time, we may be observing one directly. That ESA's latest Mars Express images intensified the panic. 3 tiny but perfectly aligned bright points suddenly appeared over the Martian region of Forsyths, absent on images from a month earlier. Experts now suspect 3I Atlas may have released smaller autonomous probes. They're synchronized triangular. Formation is nearly impossible in nature, but common in scanning arrays and coordinated positioning systems. This transformed what once looked like an astronomical risk into a technological mystery with global implications. Interest in extraterrestrial life and artificial objects skyrocketed by over 400% in search trends. Society feels that something unknown is approaching. Meanwhile, confidential research meetings compared 3I Atlas pulses to experimental resonance cavity propulsion concepts studied on Earth. The similarities were disturbing. New Hubble data shows brightness oscillations identical to today's 17-minute rhythm, meaning this behavior is not solar-driven at all. It's internal and intentional if the object can correct its course, deploy smaller structures, and maintain perfect timing. A question arises. What exactly is it trying to achieve on Mars? New confidential data suggests something more complex than a simple impact, perhaps a procedure that occurs before the strike. The first traces of preparation have already appeared on agency sensors. A restricted internal document has begun circulating, tying together signals, anomalies, and maneuvers that should not exist under known physics. It suggests that the Tri-Atlas phenomenon is no longer just an astronomical topic, but a question about our future. If Tri-Atlas is natural, it shatters our models of comet behavior and interstellar dynamics. But if it is constructed, the implications will be cultural, philosophical, and psychological for all of humanity. A technology capable of autonomous navigation over star-scale distances, deploying smaller craft, and sustaining power for centuries implies a civilization thousands or millions of years ahead of us. And now humanity faces a dilemma. Do we keep treating it as a random space rock, or admit that the object's rhythm, structure, and trajectory might encode a message? Some researchers even believe the object's behavior resembles the execution of a protocol, not an attack. What we interpret as danger might be an ancient form of communication designed for civilizations not yet ready for direct contact. This idea, as controversial as it sounds, is grounded in the eerie precision of its 17-minute cycles and its unwavering aim toward Mars, a planet loaded with geological history and symbolic meaning. For our own future point, two similar objects detected earlier by the James Webb Telescope suggest a repeating pattern, rather than a one-off event. And with that, the question becomes existential. What if the message lies not in the impact, but in the phenomenon itself? 3I Atlas, whether natural marvel or artificial envoy, forces us to confront our place in the cosmos. We never controlled space. We only controlled our illusions about it. And those illusions are now collapsing. Some truths are spoken, others are suppressed long before reaching the public. Certain ideas, once they enter the mind, cannot be undone. And beyond the scientific and philosophical shock lies another dimension, the religious one. Something with such clock-like precision inevitably recalls the old theological watchmaker argument. When you find a watch, you assume a maker. For many believers, Tri-Atlas becomes a cosmic test. If this is creation by another mind, what does that mean for humanity's place in the universe? Ancient texts may hide hints that we were never alone, that if the universe is vast by design, is it really so strange that life might exist elsewhere? And as 3I Atlas approaches Mars with impossible precision, the ancient divide between science and faith begins to blur.